Hey class, in this lesson we're going to be taking a look at robot competitions. As you know, robots aren't just built to just stay on a desk. Robots are built to do some type of task. And in many instances, robotic technology in recent times has been advanced through different robot competitions, which we'll be taking a look at in the next couple slides. Questions I want you to answer are, what are some different types of robot competitions, and what are the benefits of competing in a robot competition? The VEX robot that we use in class is made for competition. And if you take a look at the 6 elements that make a VEX robot, you might be able to guess how all those elements need to work together in order for your robot to be successful in a competition. First competition we're going to take a look at is Battlebots. And Battlebots has been a TV show that's been on since about the year 2000. And the goal of the competition is to destroy the other robot. That's pretty much it. And it's interesting to see the different robots compete against each other and trying to destroy the robots. My guess is when you signed up for this class, you probably thought, well, maybe we'll get to build some battle robots. These robots and Battlebots use chainsaws, saws, flames, all sorts of different tools to destroy the competition. If you've never seen Battlebots, go ahead on YouTube. They've got tons of clips that you can watch. One of the robots that's featured on this slide is Bronco, which was famous for using this little sharp instrument here to stab, pinch, and flip to disable other robots. It's pretty creative how these robots destroy each other. The next robot competition I want to take a look at is Megabots. Megabots was founded in 2014 by a couple guys whose vision was to start an international robot fighting sports league. What would happen is somebody would sit in one of these mech suits, as you see here, and they would go ahead and fight the other until the robots were disabled. Megabots launched a YouTube series to show progress of them building the robot, and they also started to raise money. They ended up raising about $3.8 million, and even Mr. Sikora invested just a little bit of money into the campaign because people were excited to see 2 large robots fight each other. So in 2015, Megabot felt they were ready, so Megabots challenged Tsudabashi to a melee combat duel. And in 2017, the duel happened. And Megabots won 2 rounds over Tsudabashi. And you can actually go on YouTube and actually watch the video. However, as you watch the video, you'll probably see why most people were really disappointed with the end result. The robots were slow, it looked really scripted. It kind of looked like a WWE version of robot fighting. And by 2019, Megabots was bankrupt. So even though the competition got a Guinness World Record for the category of largest robots to fight, by 2019 the company was out of money and they were starting to sell off all the assets, lay off all the workers, and basically fold up. So I don't know when we'll ever see large robot fights again, but I was kind of inspired by the idea. It's just a long way off before it'll actually happen. The next competitions that I want you to be aware of are what are called DARPA Challenges. And DARPA stands for the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency. It's an organization run and funded by the Department of Defense. And they've created a number of robotic challenges. Now, DARPA is also famous by being one of the initiators of the invention of the internet. Well, you can thank DARPA for being able to do all the learning that you're doing in this video and some of the other videos. So often DARPA will use military funds to kind of spur innovation in new areas. And so in 2004, DARPA started what's called the Grand Challenge. And the challenge was to innovate autonomous vehicle technology, and with the goal that it could possibly be used in a military environment. So in 2004, the Grand Challenge took place where 15 autonomous vehicles tried to drive through the desert from one end to the other. Unfortunately, at the end of the competition, no vehicle successfully made it through the desert. DARPA hosted the challenge again in 2005, and in this instance, 5 teams completed the Grand Challenge, which was about 132 miles to have their autonomous vehicle drive through the desert. Stanford won. They got the $2 million prize. And this challenge launched a whole new field of research into autonomous vehicles and technology. Building on the success of the Grand Challenges, where autonomous vehicles had to drive through the desert, DARPA hosted the Urban Challenge in 2007, where autonomous vehicles had to drive through an abandoned military base. Now the vehicles had to drive through traffic, perform advanced maneuvers like merging, passing, parking, and going through intersections. And in this competition, 6 of the robotic vehicles were able to cross the finish line. This showed that autonomous vehicles could drive through an urban environment, and this was also the first time that autonomous vehicles interacted with both manned and unmanned vehicle traffic. The picture on your screen shows one of the cars that was modified for the competition. In this Volkswagen, they put most of the electronics in the trunk and put all the sensors and LiDAR and other equipment on the roof. Again, these cars were unmanned. What's interesting is that this technology that was being developed in 2007 has found its way into most luxury and affordable cars that are on the road today. The DARPA Challenges are good examples of how the military can spark innovation. What are some of the positive and negative impacts of having cars being able to drive autonomously? After the success of the Urban Challenge, DARPA then moved on to what's called the Robotics Challenge, which happened in 2013, 14, and 15. And in this instance, DARPA moved on to what are called humanoid robots. The goal of the competition was to have teams create a humanoid robot that could conduct humanitarian, disaster relief, and other types of operations. The robots were all human supervised and designed to complete a variety of complex tasks, which could be picking up a drill, walking up rubble, walking up stairs, even get in, get out of a car, and actually drive a car. The goal is that at some point in the distant future, the military could drop off a group of humanoid robots that could assist in a disaster environment. And just like the Grand Challenge and the Urban Challenge, this innovation and competition has sparked a variety of new innovations in humanoid robotic technology. In the finals in 2015, over 12 teams competed from all around the world. 3 robots were able to complete all of the 8 challenges, and they were able to give away $3.5 million in prizes. The challenges won't continue, but the innovation in humanoid robotics will continue. It will be interesting to see how far robotic technology, especially for humanoid robotics, will innovate in the next 10 years, and whether or not the innovations in humanoid robotics will increase just like they did for autonomous vehicle technology. The next robot competition I want you to be aware of is the Trinity College Robot Competition, which has been going on for over 25 years right down the road at Trinity College in Hartford. Every year, the competitors compete, and the goal is to build an autonomous robot that can respond to a fire alarm, navigate a maze, locate a flame, and extinguish it. It's pretty impressive. Some of the robots use a vision system to locate and rescue a baby doll before extinguishing the fire, and they have to go ahead and do that in the shortest amount of time. Teams come from all over the world to compete, and it's pretty impressive. So if you get a chance sometime in April, go ahead and check it out. The competition is free, open to the public, and is supposed to inspire people to be creative in using STEM in their everyday lives. Having spent some time taking a look at competitions that are on TV or run by the military or run by colleges, I want to take a moment and talk about some youth robot competitions. Competitions that you could compete in at the elementary, middle school, and high school level. It's never too young to get started. So the competitions we're going to take a look at next have a new game that they do every year. So you know that basketball and baseball and football, the rules stay the same every year. Well, in robot competitions, the game and the rules change from year to year, with some things that do stay the same, like robot size, etc. But for the most part, these robot competition, the games are completely new. The competitions that I'm going to show you use what are called teams. So you might work together with another school when you get to the competition to try to get the most points. Instead of having robots that destroy things, in this instance, the robots that you're going to see, usually there's some type of task that they have to complete. Maybe move an obstacle, maybe pick up a ball, maybe pick up a gear. Usually there's obstacles that the robots have to navigate, and to navigate those obstacles and to complete the tasks, a lot of the competitions require programming and sensors on the robots. Let's take a look. The first youth robotics competition I want you to be aware of is FIRST, which stands for Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology. Started in 1992 by Dean Kamen, it's one of the oldest youth robotic competitions in the world, and it has teams from all around the world compete in a variety of different levels of robotic competitions. You have the Junior Lego League for ages 5 and 8, the First Lego League for ages 9 to 14, the First Tech Challenge for middle school and high school students where they build a robot that looks pretty similar to our VEX system, and then the First Robotics Competition, which is for high school students only. They build a large robot. Under strict rules, limited time, limited resources, student teams are basically challenged to raise funds, design a robot, design a brand, work as a team to build and program an industrial-sized robot that plays a difficult field game against other competitors. It's basically as close to a real-world engineering as students can get. There's volunteers that are engineers that come to help out the students, and the competition is very steep. All the teams take the competition very seriously, and it has the feel of a major league sporting event. It's really impressive. There are district and regional events, and then the ultimate first championship where teams from all over the world get together and compete with their first robot. If you're interested in learning more, go ahead and visit usfirst.org. The next youth robot competition is Perch, and with Perch, students build an underwater robot, and it was actually inspired by a book that was written in 1997 about how to build a robot using PVC parts, hobby motors, and a pool noodle. And in the competition, students build a robot that looks like the one that you see on your screen, and it has to navigate through obstacles and pick up different items all in a pool. So the kits are low cost, the parts are really easily accessible, there's a curriculum, and basically you build a remotely operated vehicle that would operate underwater. We've built a few of these at Wethersfield High School. We've driven around in the pool. They're pretty neat to play with. Each year there's a local competition for middle school and high school students, and there's about 50 competitions all around the United States every year. And they all culminate with the national challenge. And again, the underwater robots are designed to drive through obstacles and also complete a challenge. What might be some challenges in building a robot that has to work in the water? The last competition I want you to be aware of is VEX. And so VEX has a system for elementary and middle school students, the VEX IQ, and then there's also the high school and college competitions which use the system that we've been using at Wethersfield High School. Every year, the robot kits are used to compete in a new challenge. The challenges change from year to year. There are local challenges where teams from Connecticut and Massachusetts compete, and there's also international challenges which then go ahead and build on to the international competition where teams from all around the world go ahead and compete. Having mentored a number of middle school and high school teams, it's a pretty impressive competition. Each year, the robots compete on the same size playing field with the same size robot, 18 inches by 18 inches by 18 inches. What does change, though, is the name of the competition and the game elements and the challenges that the robot has to actually complete when they go ahead and they compete. So just because the robot you built last year was successful for the competition doesn't mean that the robot you build this year will be successful. There's a lot of things to think about. Every year, robots compete in alliances. So in this case, you'd bring your robot, and maybe there'd be a team from another high school that would bring their robot, and you'd be on the red alliance, and you'd be competing in the competition against two other robots from different schools that would be on the blue alliance. You'd compete to try to get the most points. So you might play 3 or 4 matches. At the end of all the matches, they then go ahead and have the championship round, and at the end of the day, 2 teams are the tournament champions. Those 2 tournament champions then win the ability to go on to the nationals, which take place anywhere from Disney to Indianapolis. VEX Robotics Turning Point was the competition in 2019, and the object of the game was to pick up balls like this and to move these little cones like this. These little cones here were designed to be put on these little posts, and the balls were used to be fired at these little flags. And then the robots also had at the end, by the end of the competition, be able to try to get up top one of these platforms. All right, there's a lot more to the competition than that quick little 30-second summary. You'd go online, you'd read the 60-page rule book, you'd watch the videos, you'd go on the forum, and basically what you would do is you and your team would get together and try to design a winning robot. Now, there's lots of strategies in trying to design a winning robot, and we'll take a look at that in another video. But as you take a look at a competition, the goal is to try to think, how can I get the most amount of points? The way you win is based on points, and getting the most points will get you the win. And there's not really a lot of big points in this game. Some points, some activities might give you 1 point, some activities might give you 2 points or 3 points. There's not a lot of points to spread out. But what is impressive is to see how different teams solve the problem in different ways and to see some different ideas that teams come up with. A lot of teams post on YouTube their entire robot building process, which is pretty amazing to see. So as you're trying to inspire or try to come up with a winning robot, YouTube and the internet is a great place to go. But ultimately, seeing a competition live is the best thing to do. So if you get the chance, go and actually visit a robot competition. They're usually free. They're amazing to see. Go for an hour, go for an hour and a half, go for 2. Watch a robot competition and see how all the different robot teams and elements and judges and all the things kind of work together to make this a really inspirational and really a powerful event to watch. So how would you design a robot to win this game? Lastly, what are some of the benefits of robot competitions? We've seen robot competitions both on TV, the internet, the military, and some for youth. So some of the benefits that I think of that are important are the fact that you are using science, technology, engineering, and math, are what we call STEM. You're taking these disciplines like math and science, you're taking them out of the classroom and you're using them in real ways. Sometimes you might be thinking in math class, why am I learning this? Well, a robot competition can kind of bring all that learning together. Another one is teamwork. You've got to work as a team when you build these robots, and teamwork is important, especially when you go out in the real world and try to work as a team to solve any type of engineering problem. These competitions are about as close as a real world experience as you can get inside a school. I mean, you've got to start with a box of parts and try to build a robot that can solve a task and do it in a certain amount of time and try to win. And then you got to compete with this robot in front of thousands of other people in other schools that are watching you. I mean, I've been to competitions where the robot has failed, and it's kind of sad, but it's a great learning experience for everybody. Some of these robot competitions offer college scholarships, which is kind of nice. And then lastly, for some people, the fame, the glory, and the bragging rights are a great incentive. And ultimately, it's like competing with any type of competition, whether it's sports or chess or whatever. You know, robot competitions are just another way to get out there and show how smart you are. The goal of this video was to give you an overview of different robot competitions from TV, internet, college, and beyond, and to show you some of the benefits of competing in robot competitions. The best thing to do now is to go on YouTube and watch some of the videos of some of the competitions that I've told you about. Enjoy.